All right, we back at Isaiah 47:5. It says, sit thou silent and get thee in the darkness. Now that we know that the virgin daughter of Babylon represent the Edomites, the so-called indigenous Caucasian people, because everybody you see that's so-called white might not be Edomite, you know what I mean? So we talking about those that are. Look, sit thou silent, he said, just like everybody you see that's brown skin, whatever, we think that's Israelite, might not be Israel, all Israel, not Israel either. You see what I'm saying? So it says, but he's talking to the Edomites, who are the virgin daughter of Babylon. It says in verse 5, sit thou silent and get thee into darkness. That's ignorance. Like I say, they are ignorant. Get thee into darkness, ignorance. O daughter of the Chaldees, for thou shalt no more be called the lady of kingdoms. So he told them to get it in darkness. And when you go to Isaiah 60:2, once they went into this ignorance, then what did they do to the people? Isaiah 60:2, for behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. They put the people in gross darkness, gross ignorance. And our people love to have it so. You know, they love to have it so. They love to be, like you said, don't be deceived. They love lies. They love to be lied to. That's why you tell them something. And what? That's why I say, look, you can't deny it. For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth. Ignorance shall cover the earth. The basis of men has been set up on this earth, as they say in their definition of Caucasian, and our people following whatever it is that they say. Because, for behold, the darkness shall cover the earth. Ignorance shall cover the earth. Darkness means ignorance, not knowing, being stupid, being dumb, shall cover the earth. And gross darkness, not only being ignorant, but gross ignorance, the people, right? But the Most High shall arise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee. So everybody's not going to be ignorant. That's why we bring forth this truth in these last days as Hebrew Israelites, straight up. Because he called us as pastors to bring forth his understanding of the word. But we know in part and we prophesy in part. That's why let me show you about our people. While we're dealing in such hard times and such times that are contrary to the Most High. This is our people right here. Go to Isaiah the 30th chapter. Most High said, verse 1, woe, destruction to the rebellious children, said the Most High, that take counsel. They take counsel, but not of me. Here, we giving you counsel. We telling you, hey, have faith in the Most High. Believe in him. Don't believe in no man that's telling you over their social media, over the TVs, over the papers and so forth, newspapers and everywhere. Woe, Most High said, woe, destruction to the rebellious children, said the Most High, that take counsel. They listen to somebody talking, but not of me, not of the Most High. Because you be studying to see what it is the Most High. You be asking questions, how does the Most High feel about this? How does the Most High feel about that? No, your counsel was about social media. Your counsel was with CNN. Your counsel was with the system that's set up to send you straight to hell with it. They take counsel, but not of me. And that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit. You hear that? That they may add sin to sin. You hear that? Violating the Most High's laws over and over again. And he's going to destroy you. As it is written. Listen, this is how they are. Verse 9. That this is a rebellious people. Talking about us, the children of Israel. Lying children. So don't be deceived, right? So they deceived them. Remember the people in gross darkness? So they lied to them. And what they do, they go back and lie to each other. Lying children. Children that will not hear the law of the Most High. You say you're under the law to an Israelite that's a Gentile. You know the Israelite pretty much. You know. We ain't under no law. We ain't under the law. We Gentile. We grafted in. We not under the law. The Jews killed Christ. Look what they say. John 1:11. He came into his own receiving him not. But they don't read verse 12. But as many as received him, gave he power, that spiritual power, to become the sons of the Most High, even to them that believe by Hashem Mashiach Yahushua, in the name of the anointed Savior. That's how we go to the Most High. Say, no man comes to the Father but by me. And there is no New Testament. There's only the law and the prophets when he walked the earth. Understand, overstand this. So, this is our people. This is a rebellious people, lying children. Children that would not hear the law of the Most High. They don't hear the law, which say to the seers, they were seers before they were called prophets. See not, don't be looking at us. You don't see me. This is our people. You don't see me doing all kind of wickedness. Like he just said, adding sin to sin. You don't see me. See not. And to the prophets, prophesy not unto us right things. Don't tell us what's right. People get an attitude with what's right. You tell them what's right, they got an attitude. Just as them. Rebellious. They say, prophesy not unto us right things, speaking of the smooth things, prophesy deceits. Hear that? What am I supposed to say? Make sure that you don't be deceived. Many shall come in my name and deceive many. Make sure you're not deceived. Make sure you don't believe in these lies. But what they say, which say to the seers, see not, don't be looking at us. Or they be like, you don't see me. Got them, you don't see me people. That the Most High said his eyes are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, beholding all the ways of men and even the secret things. And he said he given his secret, he revealed his secret to his servants, the prophets. So he revealed things to us. But people act like, you don't see me. That's what he said. We'll say to the seers, see not, don't be looking at me. And to the prophets, prophesy not unto us right things. Don't tell us what's right. What's righteous. Speaking of the smooth things, prophesy deceits. Prophesy lies. Remember the prophets? Remember the priests? Teach falsely. They teach in falsehoods. We just read that, right? The devil deceiving the whole world. The devil getting into the minds of them that's teaching deceits. To have them teach falsely. What they say? Speak smooth words. Smooth things. Prophesy deceits. Prophesy lies. It's our people. Get you out of the way. Turn aside out of the path. Cause the Holy One of Israel to cease from before us. See, that's our people. Straight up. The majority of our people. They locked right into this. That type of spirit. That's why the Most High going to destroy them. 2/3 of our people. Because they're not going to want to hear this word. They're going to say, oh, well, they have some excuse. You know how people are. You're not going to take the time to change. It's all about change, yo. Let's see. Going back to Isaiah 56:10. His watchmen are blind. His watchmen are supposed to be the leaders that's over our people, watching over us, looking at us. Let me make sure that they're doing the right things. Let me make sure that our people are being led the right way. When he said the watchmen are blind, meaning they can't see this truth. They are all ignorant. Darkness mean ignorance. They are all in darkness. They are all dumb dogs. They are all dumb dogs. So to be ignorant, you dumb. To be in darkness, you dumb and ignorant. They are all dumb dogs, he said. They cannot bark because your dog barks to let you know, that you be aware of something. Sleeping, lying down, loving to slumber, loving to be in darkness. Remember he said once he went into darkness, then he put the people in gross darkness, as it is this day. That's why they doing what they supposed to do, though. They doing what they supposed to do. Talk about them all you want to, but the Most High said in Proverbs 16:4, he said, Proverbs 16:4, the Most High have made all things for himself. Yeah, even the wicked for the day of evil. So they're in order. That's what y'all gotta understand. They're in order. We out of order in dealing with what you just heard and us being rebellious against the law of the Most High. His rules and regulations. Point blank. No and ifs or buts about it until this day. That's why payback is something else. But it's coming. You can't deny it because you're hearing it. And our people right with them, you're gonna die, you're gonna fall right with them. Look, and this we're not excluded. Don't get me wrong. I say pork chop eating pastors all the time, but Israelites, leaders too. A lot of them been in this truth and went astray. So we ain't exempt. He that endure to the end, the same shall be saved. Got to endure to the end. Isaiah 56:12. Come ye, say they. I will fetch wine. You know, we like to drink wine. We're going to fetch wine. And we will fill ourselves with strong drink. And tomorrow shall be as this day, and much more abundant. We're going to get much more out of these people. Because they greedy dogs. People just getting collecting money. Where is it? Where is our corporations at? Where is our, what are we building here? What are we doing? You're getting all this money. They should be able to do something with it to show forth to help the people. That's what it's all about. If you're really going to deal with what this is about, it's supposed to be collecting money to help the nation, one way or the other. But some of them ain't worth helping because they still wicked. But we have those that are righteous. We got 1/3 of our people. We can't say within now, at this time, because it could have been 1/3 that died that ain't have to come back. Didn't have to come back to this wicked world. Part of the 1/3. So we more numerous than the stars in the sky and the sand of the sea. For all the time that we've existed as a nation. Got to keep that in mind, because like Ezra and Daniel had to come back here. Some that didn't have to come back here. But this is how we roll. Those that roll by Hashem Mashiach Yahushua in the name of the Lord and Savior. Look at Acts, the 4th chapter. And we're going to look at once they were rolling with the Spirit of the Most High. Look at start at verse 33. It says, and with great power, this spiritual power, when you see power, that's spiritual power from the Most High, gave the apostles witness of the resurrection of Mashiach Yahushua, and great grace, give you something you don't deserve, was upon them all. Listen, neither was there any among them that lacked. Hear that? That's what the church supposed to be about. Making sure that nobody lacks. Everybody's taken care of. That's rolling in the truth. Properly. We ain't talking about no wicked people. We talking about the ones that's rolling right. For as many as were possessors of lands or houses sold them, and brought the prices of things that were sold. They bought the prices of things that were sold and laid them down at the apostles' feet. That's trust right there. They laid them down at the apostles' feet, and distribution was made unto every man according as he had need. You hear that? Distribution was made unto every man according as he had need. Is they doing that now? Who's doing this? This is how it's supposed to be done. And we roll like that. When we have big money, we roll like this. And Joseph, who by the apostles was surnamed Barnabas, well, I'm going to say big money. But we had money enough to be able to make sure that everybody was taken care of. And Joseph, who by the apostles was surnamed Barnabas, which is, being interpreted, the son of consolation, a Levite, and of the country of Cyprus, having land, sold it, and brought the money and laid it at the apostles' feet. If you want to say laid it at the apostles' feet, distribution was made, like it says in verse 35, unto every man according as he had need. You see? That's what the church is supposed to be about. You collecting the money to make sure that everybody is all right. Because that's how we're going to make it in these last days. We might have to go back to the barter system. You see? You got this, I got that. Exchange from each other. It's going to be bad. So now when you go to verse chapter 5, you have Ananias and Sapphira, his wife. They sold their possession. And they held back some of it. And both of them were put to death. How about that? Most High put both of them to death, as this is written. So, it's like the eyes of the Most High upon the sinful kingdom. He looking at everything that's going down. And where they at? In the Roman Empire. Where we at? The latter end of the Greco-Roman Empire. Still the same people. Still the same wicked Israelites too. That's right down with the system. Why they did this? Because they was wicked. Children of the devil. Him and his wife. Let me let's go look at let's see, look at Revelations 17. Start at verse 1. It says, "And there came out of the 7 angels which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show to thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication." The wine being influenced by her fornication. Remember he said, get you in the darkness. And once you got in the darkness, put the people in gross darkness. Gross lies. Don't be deceived. Don't be lied to. But the people of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. Fornication is spiritual fornication, not believing in the Most High's laws, statutes, commandments. You don't believe in him. He said he wrote these laws with the finger of the Most High. And the things that are contrary to the laws of the Most High, everything that the Most High say do, they do opposite. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness. And I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast. Remember, she ain't going to be, told you in Isaiah 47, she was called a woman. This system of things, the Edomite system. And he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness. And I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet, what color is scarlet? A red-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. See? Their empire, the Greeks, the Romans, the Spanish, the French, the Germans, the Russians, the British, came in consecutive. Then America comes out of Britain. And the 10 horns, or 10 powers are the EEC, or the European Economic Community, or the European Community now it's called NATO. You know, they try and change them up. It was 10 horns. It was 10 powers. It's in the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, decked with gold and precious stones and pearls. All the resources that they've gotten from all the lands, especially Africa, they still trying to milk that place. Decked in purple, that means she's in authority, powers and authority. And precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. Abominations mean there are sins, filthy, wicked acts, full of abomination and filthiness of her fornication. You see? And upon her forehead was a name written in her mind, and on her forehead, and we can see a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and the abomination of the earth. So when you break down, and I've broken down this chapter for you, all you that's been here, so you should still have this chapter breakdown. When I broke down Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abomination of the earth, you break it down into Hebrew. With each Hebrew character has a numerical value, and it equals to what? 666, straight up. Mother of harlots, Mystery Babylon the Great, and the abomination of the earth equals 666. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints. We went over this. And with the blood of the martyrs of Mashiach Yahushua, those that have died, been martyrs, believing in Bahasham Mashiach Yahushua, in the name of the anointed Savior. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. It was something. That's why it correlates right with what we read in Revelation, the 6th chapter, and verse 9. And when he had opened the 5th seal, I saw under the altar the souls of them that were slain for the word of the Most High, for the testimony which they held. See? Slain for the word of the Most High, right? It was no different than when you look at, right quick, since we're in Revelation, go to Revelation 19th chapter. Slain for the word of the Most High. Let's look at verse 13. And he who was a Mashiach Yahushua, when he come, as he told you in verse 11, to judge and make war, was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood. And you want to know about the vesture dipped in blood, you know whose blood it is, just go to Isaiah 63rd chapter, verse 1 down, which they gave us in the definition of Edom in the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. It says, look, and he, Mashiach Yahushua, was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name is called, what? The Word of the Most High. Word of God, it says, right? So it's the same thing as what you see here. Verse 9. And when he had opened this 5th seal, I saw under the altar, this is verse 9 of Revelation 6th chapter. And when he had opened this 5th seal, I saw under the altar the souls of them that were slain for the word of the Most High, and for the testimony which they held, right? So, are y'all seeing this? Because we're seeing that it correlates right with what we just read in Revelation 17. When it says, verse 6, and I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints. Meaning they killing the saints. The saints are the 12 tribes of Israel. We got to define that. Hold that. This Psalms 148:14. The blood of the saints. So you know that it's not just talking about somebody go up in the church talking about, oh, when the saints go marching in, oh, when the saints go marching in. No. And you a saint just because you go to church? I don't think so. The saints are defined here in Psalms 148:14. He also exalted the horn, which is the power of his people, the praise of all his saints. Who are they? Even of the children of Israel. Who are we? A people near to the Most High. Praise ye the Most High. So the saints are the children of Israel, 12 tribes of Israel. So now going back to Revelation 17, now that we know that the saints are the 12 tribes of Israel, verse 6, and I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints right here on this earth. The woman representing the so-called white man, killing the saints, the chosen people of the Most High, the 12 tribes of Israel, and with the blood of the martyrs of the Mashiach. See? You think about it. They crucified all the apostles. They believed on the Mashiach Yahushua. They killed them all. They killed Paul. They killed them all. And some of us could be martyrs of a Mashiach. You know, it hits me hard when I read this, because my brother Raya Allah, he was murdered. And he believed by Hashem Mashiach Yahushua, martyrs of a Mashiach. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. See? But if you want to get the whole breakdown, then you have to come to class. Because the Most High wanted everyone in the world to know this, then it would be plain and simple. You wouldn't have to be going through much to be able to understand what it is that it's saying. But see, we have a lot that we have to deal with in getting ready for what it is that's promised to us. Go to Jeremiah, the 30th chapter. It says from verse 1, the word that came to Jeremiah from the Most High, saying, thus speaketh the Most High power of Israel, saying, write thee all the words that I have spoken unto thee in a book. You know, that correlates right with, because people say, well, who wrote the Bible? Yeah, wicked people, they be like, who wrote the Bible? But they say they believe in the Most High. Now, who wrote the Bible? Just who wrote the Bible? 2 Peter 1 and 30. Knowing this first. 2 Peter, the first chapter, the 20th verse. It says, knowing this first, that no prophecy of the scripture is of any private interpretation. For the prophecy came not in old time by the will of man. So the prophecy came not in old times by the will of man, but holy men, just like Jeremiah, of the Most High spake as they were moved by the Holy Spirit, by the Spirit of the Most High, right? So now going back to Jeremiah, the 30th chapter, verse 1, it says, the word that came to Jeremiah from the Most High, saying, write, thus speaketh the Most High power of Israel, saying, write thee all the words that I have spoken unto thee in a book. That's why we have it. Say, for lo, the days come, said the Most High, future prophecy, that I will bring again the captivity of my people Israel and Judah, the northern tribes, 9.5 tribes, and the southern tribes, said the Most High. And I will cause them to return to the land that I gave to their fathers, and they shall possess it. See that? The Most High is going to cause us to come back to the land, and we're going to possess it. And these are the words that the Most High spake concerning Israel and concerning Judah, concerning the 12 tribes of Israel, the northern tribes and the southern tribes. Because, you know, the kingdom was split once King Solomon died, and Rehoboam his Solomon's son took over Judah, Benjamin, Levi, and all the tribes that didn't go with Rehoboam, the Ephraimite, of the leader of the northern tribes. Some tribes came with Judah, Benjamin, Levi, where they had always been coming down to Jerusalem for every holy convocation and so forth. So we had some tribes amongst us, and that's why you have it was split behind what King Solomon did in making these altars and these worship idols and places to go in to worship these other nations, the women that he got with the other nations, idols, temples and so forth. And Most High came to him twice and said, stop, don't do it. He loved it, Solomon, but he kept doing it. In his older age, you know, he fell off. But we read a lot of information and a lot of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding from him before he went off, you know. When he died, and the Most High split the kingdom. They say he wasn't going to do it during the time he lived, so he split the kingdom. Because everybody, all 12 tribes, from until then, until after King Solomon, before, while King Solomon lived, I'll say, and David and all the rest, Saul and all the rest of the time, as we as Israelites, we were all together, all 12 tribes were together. But when Solomon did what he did, the Most High split the kingdom in half. The northern tribes and the southern tribes. So that's why you see Israel, which represents northern Israel, and Judah, which represents southern Israel. But he said he's going to put us in our land, and we're going to possess it. Verse 4, and these are the words that the Most High spake concerning Israel and concerning Judah. That's why you see Israel, that represents the northern tribes, 9 tribes, and Judah representing the southern tribes. You see, 3 tribes, because it's 12 tribes. And I say sometimes you see a 9.5 because the Levites were in all the tribes. You know, they were the priests that were in all the tribes, bringing forth the laws of the Most High. So it says, and these are the words that the Most High spake concerning Israel and concerning Judah. But thus said the Most High, we have heard a voice of trembling. This is Jacob's trouble, y'all. We have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. You see? We look for peace, but no peace came. He's hear a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. Ask ye now and see whether a man does travail with child. Is a man having a baby with the contraction that you women know how it feels? Say that's some of the worst pain ever. But is a man travailing with child? Is a man feeling that pain or the contractions that a woman having a baby? Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins, every man with his hands on his stomach, as a woman in travail, as a woman having a baby, and them contractions kicking her butt. She feeling that pain. And all faces are turned into paleness. It says, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. You hear this? Alas, for that day is great. You hear what he's saying? Whereas there is none like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble. But he shall be saved out of it. Don't that sound great? It's our trouble, but we're going to be saved out of it. Which shall come to pass in that day, said the Most High Power of hosts, that I will break his yoke from off thy neck, oppressor. Like he said, as they are done, it's going to be done to them. He's going to break his yoke from off our neck, said the Most High, and will burst thy bonds, and strangers shall no more serve themselves of him. You hear that? These other nations not going to ever serve themselves of us, but they shall serve the Most High their power, and David their king, whom I will raise up unto them. Therefore fear thou not, O my servant. Most High said only fear him. Jacob, said the Most High, neither be dismayed, O Israel, for lo, I will save thee from afar, way over here in this western hemisphere, and thy seed from the land of their captivity. We scattered amongst all these nations in captivity. But he said he's going to save us from our captivity. And Jacob shall return and shall be in rest and be quiet, and none shall make him afraid. For I am with thee, said the Most High, to save thee. Though I make a full end of all nations, whither I have scattered thee. Hear what he said? Though I make a full end of all nations, wherein he hath scattered us in captivity, slavery, and bondage, scattered among all these nations. He said, though I make a full end of all nations, whither I have scattered thee, yet will I not make a full end of thee. 1/3 of our people going to be redeemed. But I will correct thee in measure. So he's going to correct us in measure. That's a certain period of time that we deal with. And we near that end time, y'all, of our correction. While we sin, repent and come back to the law, statutes, commandments of the Most High. Follow his rules and regulations. He said, but I will correct thee in measure, and will not leave thee altogether unpunished. So we the chosen people of the Most High. So he's telling us he's not going to leave us altogether unpunished. So what you think he's going to do to other nations? They not going to be punished? And they have not. We read in Psalms 147:20 that as for the judgment, they have not known it. They have not known the judgment of the Most High. But oh, it's coming. It's coming. He said he's not going to leave us altogether unpunished. So we see that these things are at hand. That's happening with us. Look at Daniel's 12:1. Daniel's 12:1. We got to go through it, but we know that it's worth it because of the end result, the kingdom. And it's going to be a remnant of everyone, every nation. It's going to be a remnant. Because when we have rest, we got to have somebody that's going to be working. Daniel's 12:1. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble. You hear that? Listen at this trouble. Such as never was since there was a nation. You hear that? This time of trouble, Jacob's trouble, is going to be so bad, beyond all our imagination. It says, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time, that people shall be delivered. We're going to be saved, y'all. Y'all talking about y'all saved. At that time, we're going to be delivered. Everyone that shall be found written in the book. Uh-oh. Everyone, not everybody. He said everyone that shall be, names be written in the book. That's why you look at, real quick, go to Revelation 20 and 15. The book of life, the Lamb's book of life. I believe it is. Revelation 20 and 15, it says, and whosoever was not found written in the book of life, that's that book of life, was cast into the lake of fire. So if your name not written in the book of life, you'll be cast into the lake of fire. That's what it's all about. That our names could be written in the book of life. They'll be cast into the lake of fire. So, but you know, we got to understand and understand. The Most High and the Mashiach Shai know our pain. They know what we're going through. That's why he said, as we going through this, for inspiration, go to Matthew 11 and 28. It said, come unto me, he said, all you that labor and are heavy laden. Jacob's trouble. It's going to be worse than it ever been since we was a nation. Mashiach Shai said, come unto me, all you that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. See, I'm going to give you rest. That's why you have to tap into him. What did he say? Take my yoke upon you and learn of me. He said, learn of him. He the word of the Most High. But I am meek and lowly in heart. So I'm meek, I'm humble, and lowly in mind. And ye shall find rest unto your souls. This is what we want. Rest. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light, he said. Philippians 2 and 5. He know the pain and the suffering that we going through, one way or another. Most High chasten, we chasten. He gonna chasten you. He love you. He gonna chasten you. See, let this mind be in you. Philippians 2 and 5. So let this mind be in you, which was also in the Mashiach Yahushua, as he just told you what to do. So learn of him. You come in the volume of the book. St. John 13 and 15. For I have given you an example that you should do as I have done to you.
As joined.
He said, I have given us an example. By not sinning, coming to the earth and showing that as a man, going through the same temptations and everything that we go through, and not sinning. Say, for I have given you an example. He was an example. That you should do as I have done to you. See? 1 Peter 2 and 19. Loving you. That's why when you read, it's all about loving each other. Loving our brothers and sisters. And being examples that the other nation can follow our examples. That we follow the example of Mashiach Yahushua. As he followed the example of the Most High. That order. 1 Peter 2 and 19. You know our pain. You know what we're going through. You have those that, you know, are going to hear, and you have those that are not going to hear. 1 Peter 2 and 19. For this is thing worthy, if a man for conscience toward the Most High endure grief, suffering wrongfully. You see? For what glory is it if when ye are buffeted or checked for your faults, ye shall take it patiently? But if when ye do well and suffer for it, ye take it patiently, this is acceptable with the Most High, because the Most High who we love, he chastens, right? Is that something? You're gonna be dipped in the fiery furnace any way you look at it. You can't escape this, especially you that have been called. Look, overstand this. He said, Revelation 3:19. Revelation 3:19. As many as I love, I rebuke. Moses said, many as I love, I rebuke and chasten. Be zealous, therefore, and repent. Hear that? He said, who he love, he chastens. Rebuke and chasten you. So we can't get out of it. How you going to run from this? This is what he's saying. That's why we got to be in the spirit. Try and, do the best we can and not fall short of the glory of the Most High. Hebrews 12:6. Hebrews 12:6. For whom the Most High loveth, he chastens. Hear that? And scourges every son whom he receiveth. See, whom the Most High love, he chastens. So, like I said, we ain't getting away with it. You ain't ready for the affliction. Because he said, look, hold that. Because he said, look. See, some people think that they holding it down, that they ain't got to go through nothing. Or just because they haven't went through anything, that it's not coming their way. You better think again. This is what the Most High said. See, we canceled him out from the beginning. He said, all you need is me and the tree of life, my son. But now we chose the Most High and the devil. Say, don't eat of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Ain't got nothing to do with that. I'm righteous over here. Don't deal with the devil. But we chose the devil and death. Say, when you choose that, you're going to die. We chose death rather than over here on the right-hand side of the Most High and choose life. That's why we're going through all this from generation to generation, all from the time of beginning all the way to now, these end days, to get to where he wanted it to be in the beginning. So he offered us everlasting life. We chose death instead of living forever. Did the Most High like this and chose the devil. Shame on us, man. So he said in Hosea 5:15, since we did him like that and have been doing him like that, remember we just read about we rebellious people. He said, I will go and return to my place, Hosea 5:15, till they acknowledge their offense, till we acknowledge that we offended him. Then now, and hopefully it'll stop, but we offended the Most High. So I'm going to go to my place till they acknowledge their offense and seek my face, because he hid his face from us in their affliction. That's why I say one way or another. He say who he love, he chastens, and we're going to be dipped in the fiery furnace of affliction. Point blank. He going to get you one way or the other. All of us going to have to deal with affliction. If you ain't dealt with no affliction, it's coming. Believe this. He said, I'm going to my place till they acknowledge their offense, till we acknowledge how we offended him, and seek my face. In their affliction, they will seek me early. Hear that? In our affliction, he's going to seek us. We're going to seek him early. So go back to Hebrews 12, verse 6. For whom the Most High loveth, he chastens. He chastens. You see? So he chastens and scourges every son whom he receiveth. So you ain't getting away with it without being afflicted. If you want to be in this, you want to go to the kingdom. It says, if you endure chastening, the Most High dealeth with you as with sons. You endure the pain that the Most High going to bring up. He the one that wound and heal. He the one that's telling you he love you. He going to chasten you. He going to scourge you. If you endure chastening, the Most High dealeth with you as sons. For what son is he whom the Father hath chastened not? But if ye be without chastisement, Oh, you living a life of rally, ain't nothing going down with you, no affliction. In your affliction, you gonna seek me early, you ain't dealing with nothing. Whereof all are partakers, all is a certain number, that's partaking of this chastening, being dipped in the furnace of affliction. All, a certain number of us, are dealing with this. But if ye be without chastisement, most I say who we love, he chastised, right? Whereof all are partakers, then are ye bastards, and not sons. You ain't none of his. That's something. Furthermore, if that ain't enough for you, we have had fathers of our flesh, which corrected us, and we gave them reverence. They whooped our butts. We gave them reverence. Shall we not much rather be in subjection unto the Father of spirits and live? Haven't we learned our lesson yet? You really say the Father of spirits and live? You got all kinds of spirits. For they verily for a few days chasten us after their own pleasure, because you did something wrong. And they took the time to chastise you. But he for our profit, that we might be partakers of his holiness, the righteousness of the Most High, pureness. Now no chastening for the present seemeth to be joyous, but grievous. Nevertheless, afterward it yielded the peaceable fruit of righteousness unto them which are exercised thereby. See, you gonna know and feel that the Most High love you. You gonna know and feel that you have an opportunity to make it to the kingdom that we can't even imagine. It's so beautiful, so magnificent. Living in concrete jungle, in all the manners that we have to deal with every day. But some don't have to deal with it. So he call you a bastard. A bastard is what? A fatherless child. He's he's saying, you're none of mine. None of mine. So you got those that are the sons of the Most High and those that are bastards. That's why we have to look at how Most High know what we're going to, what we're going to have to go to. Look at Matthew 18. He's given us clear indication of how we have to be, how we got to change. It's about being born again. Like he said, you got to be born again in St. John the 3rd chapter and so forth. It's about change. That's all. Change. To be a better person in the eyes of the Most High, and not just satisfying your flesh and the things that man would have you to do that seems right on this earth, when they've done everything contrary to the Most High. Ain't gonna be no peace, because you become the wicked, ain't gonna be no peace to you either. Listen, Matthew 18, and start at verse, let's look at 1. At the same time came the disciples unto Mashiach saying, who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven? So they want to know who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. That's what we're trying to go to, the kingdom of heaven, right? They want to know who's the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. Listen to what he said. And the Mashiach called a little child unto him and set him in the midst of them. Called a little child and set him in the midst of them. And said, verily, truly I say unto you, except ye be converted. It's change, y'all. Except ye be converted and become as little children. Little child is innocent. Ye shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven. Hear that? You got to come like a little child, because a little child is like a sponge. I like to use the example of a sponge. Or not a sponge, but a rubber band. You stretch it forth, and it go right back to its position. Like they could be playing, you could be playing. I remember growing up, you be playing, you go out there, fighting with your friends. Next thing you know, you playing again. You partners again. It's easy to become partners again. Adults be holding grudges and stuff. Somebody say something, next thing they mad forever. Because they got the wrong spirit. They rolling with the devil. But that's why he's saying, you want to make it to the kingdom, so you got to be like a little child. Because they innocent. Some, I won't say all. I'll say not every child with all is real, because it's a certain number. You see what I'm saying? Because if you just make sure you understand, not all of them, because Ezekiel 9:4 says this. He's not talking about these. He's talking about those that are innocent and humble and have the right spirit. But Ezekiel 9:4 says, and the Most High said unto me, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem. That's where we at as Israelites. Instead of mark upon the foreheads, the minds, set this mark upon the minds of the men that sigh and that cry. Men that sigh and that's crying for what? For all the abominations, the filthy wicked acts, the sins that be done in the midst thereof. So that's the men that sigh and that's crying for all the abominations that's being done on this earth and amongst us as Israelites. And it's right there in social media, on the TV, in movies, all around us. And to the others that don't have this mark, he said, in mine hearing, go ye after him through the city and smite, he said, and kill. Smite means to kill. Let not your eyes spare. Don't let no one of your eyes spare. That's going to perform this duty of the Most High. Neither have ye pity. Ain't going to be no pity in this days. Like we just read about when these racial wars and martial law and people coming in your house to destroy what you have and kill you with the gun. This modern day sword is the guns. He said, she said, go through the city and smite. That means kill. Let not your eye spare. Don't spare no one. Neither have ye pity. Say slave. That means kill utterly. Old and young. Old people and young people. Both maids, young women, and little children. See that? They're going to be killing little children. And women. But I'm here because he says, got to be as a child, but not like these children. You got some wicked children, man. That's why I say kill little children. Kill them.